Thank you so much for joining this lesson. We shall be discussing integrated science, paper 1, the theory paper. Number 1, during a lesson to identify common hazards and their signposts, learners observed various signposts. Which one of the following signposts represent corrosive substances? So for corrosive substances, we have the sample in C. That is what represents corrosive substances. Grade 9 learners were asked to classify the following elements as metals and non-metals. Which of the following pairs consist of metals only? So I'm supposed to look for a pair that contains calcium, which is a metal, and also sodium, which is a metal. So 1 and 4, and that is A. Yeah, calcium and metal. The others are non-metals. Number 3, in an experiment to investigate the acidity of a solution using the chromatography, learners were required to look and apply scientific skill learned to give a response. Which scientific skill is required? They are required to do what? To look and apply. Look and apply. So that is observation. Number 4. Now the following are enzymes that are produced in the duodenum during digestion process. Which one is not? So this one is we have trypsin, pepsin, pancreatic amylase, pancreatic lipase. So it is only pepsin that is produced in the stomach. The others are produced in the duodenum. Number 5, learners from Unity Comprehensive School were asked by their integrated science teacher to identify the energy transformation in a radio that uses dry cells. Which of the following is the correct energy transformation that they gave? So you can see in A, chemical, electrical, magnetic, kinetic, and sound. From the others, you can see electrical, kinetic, sound, light, then chemical, magnetic, kinetic, chemical, electrical, heat, light. So if it's on a radio, then we expect the sound to be the last form of energy expected. We know what a radio is. So A becomes the most appropriate answer. Now look at this, number 6. The following are roles of osmosis in plants. Which one is odd one out? Which one is not a role of osmosis? Absorption of water from salts. Remember, osmosis is the movement of water molecules from where they are highly concentrated to where they are lowly concentrated through semi-permeable membranes. Opening and closing of stomata. Absorption of water and mineral salts from the soil. Then feeding of infectious plants. That one now becomes odd one out. Curved mirrors are used in day-to-day life for different purposes. Learners discussed and listed the following as applications of curved mirrors: security mirrors in supermarkets, motor vehicle side mirrors, car headlights, solar cooker. Which two of the uses are correct only for convex mirrors? Remember, convex mirrors are also called diverging mirrors. They have a wide field of view, what we call a wide field of view. And using a convex mirror, images are always upright. So because of those two advantages, having a wide field of view and images always being upright, then this can be used as security in supermarkets and also as side mirrors. So that makes 1 and 2 to be the most appropriate choices, making D the answer in number 7. Number 8. Which one is not a unit of measuring temperature? We have Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin, then Ampere. Ampere is for electric current. So it's the odd one out in that case. Number 9, which of the following is the function of testes in a human reproductive system? So we know that the storing of sperms, that one is the work of epididymis, but production of sperms is the function of the testes. We also have part C, acting as a pathway for childbirth. That is the work of the suffix, which is in females. Produces ova and secrete hormones. That is the work of ovaries. So it is only B that fits the function of testes. Number 10. Now the following are examples of biotic factors. Which one is odd one out? Biotic factors, these are living things and the way they affect ecosystems. So symbiosis, predation, saprophytism. Then we have now temperature. Temperature is not a living factor, so it's the odd one out. The following are atomic numbers of some elements: 5, 7, 10, and 15. Identify the stable element. Now, for a stable element, it should have a fully filled outermost energy level. So when you arrange the electronic arrangements, with 5, we'll have 2, 3. With 7, you shall have 2, 5. With 10, you shall have 2, 8. And with 15, you shall have 2, 8, and 5. So it is only the one with 10 which is now stable because it has the outer energy level, which is fully filled, making B the right answer. Number 12. A group of grade 8 learners made some holes around the plastic container at the same height. Mark the word same height. Water jetted out through the holes as shown. Just as you can see from the plastic container, water jetting out. Which one of the following statement describes what they were investigating? Pressure increase with height. Pressure is exerted equally in no direction. Pressure is equal at the same height. Pressure is not affected by depth. So pressure is equal at the same height or at the same depth. That is why they opened or they made holes around the container at the same level. This is purposely in liquids. It's supposed to know that. Now, the following are adaptations of fruits and seed for animal dispersal. Which one is odd one out? Number 1, some seeds are light and airy structures. B, some fruits have hooks. Some seeds are non-digestible. Some fruits are brightly colored. So this is to attract the animals. This is to ensure that in case an animal feeds on them, they shall remain undigested even throughout the system until the animal goes to a different place and they are disposed there as feces. Then some fruits have hooks so that they may attach themselves to the animal's fur or wool. But A, being light and airy, that is for wind, an adaptation for wind dispersion. So A becomes the right answer. Study the diagram below that was used to investigate in investigating a factor that affect the rate of photosynthesis and use it to answer questions 14 and 15. Identify the factor that was under investigation. So we have one leaf which has been wrapped with aluminium foil. You know, one property of aluminium foil is that it is shiny, meaning that it reflects light away. Therefore, this leaf is being prevented from receiving sunlight. So the factor is sunlight, not actual light, but sunlight, basically. State the function of the factor named in 14 above. During the process of photosynthesis, light energy is the one that is used to split water molecules. into glucose and oxygen. Also, we have a byproduct of the process, which is now oxygen. So water is split into oxygen and glucose. Which of the following is not classified as a curved mirror? Parabolic mirrors. Sorry. Trying to check something on my screen. Okay. So let me repost. Oh, yes, we are back. Which of the following is not classified as a curved mirror? We have a plain mirror. You know, a plain mirror cannot be curved. So it's definitely the odd one out. We have parabolic mirrors, we have concave, and we have diverging. Diverging is also called convex. Now, when we talk about parabolic, these are reflecting surfaces which are obtained from a conical surface. So they are more curved than the ones obtained from spheres. Yeah, from spherical objects. The following setup was used to investigate rustling process. Study it and answer the questions 17 and 18. We have a nail, then the test tube is just open in part B. Yes. We have cold water, we have a nail. In C, we have sodium chloride solution, we have nail. In part D, we have a coke, oil, boiled water, and nail. Now, in which of the above setups, rusting did not take place? It is in D, where rusting didn't take place. So where is D? Option B is the one that gives us D as the answer. So we answer B. Not the learners who will confuse there. They start saying that the answer is D. They know the answer, but they respond wrongly. So D is carrying B, the answer. So when you respond D, you will mean it is B, where rusting didn't take place. Supposed to be very careful in such a case. Which choice bears our answer? Now, what is the function of sodium chloride in the setup C? The function of sodium chloride in the setup. Remember, there are conditions which are necessary for rusting and others that are to accelerate the process of rusting. Therefore, salty conditions and acidic conditions are some of the factors that accelerate or speed up the rate of rusting. So salty condition, it provides a salty condition which accelerates the process of rusting. Now, during a science fair, a learner displayed a magnet as shown below. You can see a magnet, south, North Pole, South Pole. The region marked R around the magnet where magnetic force is experienced is called the magnetic field. The region within a magnet or around a magnet where magnetic strength is experienced is called magnetic field. Number 20, a straight line joining the center of curvature and the pole of the curved mirror is known as the principal axis. So the straight line that joins the center of curvature of a mirror and the pole P of the mirror is called principal axis. Center of curvature is the center of the sphere of which the mirror is part. Our principal focus is the point where lines or rays of light that are close to the principal axis and parallel converge after reflection for a concave mirror. And for convex mirrors, it is a point where rays that are close and parallel to principal axis seem to diverge from after reflection by the mirror. Focal length, of course, is the distance from the pole to the principal focus. 21. The following are examples of kidney disorders. Which one is not? Kidney stone, nephritis, kidney failure, hypertension. So hypertension is a heart disease, but not a kidney associated. Now the following are components that makes an alloy. Which of the following, which one of the following are components of brass? Components of brass are copper and zinc. Copper and zinc. Number 23, kerosene has a density of 800 kilograms per meter cubed. Determine the pressure exerted by kerosene at a depth of 1.6 meters below the surface. This is a fluid, so pressure is given by H rho G. A height of 1.6, a density of 800, and the value of G is always 10. It's a constant. The value of G is always 10. So now here, we shall have the answer is 12,800 Pascal. Yeah, 12,800 Pascal. Number 24. Grade 9 learners were discussing on the application of pressure in liquids. Underline the word liquids. Which one of the following choices was correct? Back pass. Yeah. Have broad traps. Heavy trucks having many wheels. Hydraulic brake system. Iron nails having narrow tips. All these might be applications of pressure, but because they were discussing pressure in liquids, then C becomes the right answer. Yeah, pressure in liquids. So C becomes the right answer in that case. But the following are components of animal cell as seen under the light microscope. Which one is not? Animal cell. Animal cell has a cell membrane, but it doesn't have a cell wall. And actually, that is the main structural difference between animal cell and plant cells. On the other side, plant cells have what we are calling a cell wall. Now, when choosing a method of separating a mixture of liquid and solid, it's important to consider density of liquid, solubility of liquid, density of solid, size of particles of the solid. So the most suitable answer here is solubility of the solid. Is the solid able to dissolve in the particular solvent or not? Now the following are properties of a solid. Which one is odd one out? Not a property of a solid. Have density, shape, they have volume, ability to flow. Solids do not flow easily because their particles are strongly held together by what you call a cohesive forces of attraction between molecules of same kind. So cohesion in liquids, cohesion in solids is usually very high. And that makes the solid unable to flow from one point, of course, to another. Now, a learner wants to measure the voltage in a simple electric circuit. Which instrument should the learner use to measure voltage? So we'll talk about a voltmeter showing voltage. But the following are parts of a kidney. Which one is not? We have the renal artery, renal vein, urethra, ileum, and that is urethra. Urethra is an independent part of the excretory system, but not part of the kidney. Yeah, so it is the odd one out here. Number 30. Which one of the following word emission represents a chemical change? Actually, a permanent chemical change. Copper plus oxygen equals to copper 2 oxide. And you remember copper 2 oxide is a new substance altogether. Therefore, That is a chemical change. When you look at the others, they can easily be reversible. Anhydrous calcium 2 chloride heated, it becomes hydrated. I think that equation is even not in the right direction. When we have hydrated calcium chloride is when we heat to get unhydrated. Yeah. Then we have ice to water that can be reversed. Iodine heated to iodine vapor. It can also be reversed. 25. Guys, remember to subscribe to this platform. Remember also to share so that you may invite a friend. Remember, our consultation line is 0704 15 33 66. That is our consultation line. You can reach out for more programs. Study the wave below and use it to answer the questions that follow. We have displacement on the vertical axis, but on the x-axis, we are having time in seconds. So identify the type of wave. First, this is going to be a transverse wave. Yeah, transverse wave. Because it is characterized by, it is characterized by crests and troughs. I've stated the amplitude of the wave. According to this wave, amplitude is the highest a particle can raise to, or the lowest a particle can go down to. So here we consider the topmost, and that is 2. Yeah, 2 million. What is K? Let's get to K. Yeah. What are you able to interpret from here? This is a complete oscillation, as you can see. If a particle starts moving from this point A, by the time it is at point B, it is said to have covered a complete oscillation. And what is within this complete oscillation? Is it time? Yes. Then time taken to cover a complete oscillation is called period T. Now, I know this is a confusing case. Sometimes you'll be given a graph like this. Let me just sketch it. So sometimes you'll be given a graph like this. Then what you have here is distance along the x-axis. If that is distance, and you also have another displacement here. Yeah, we have another displacement here. Then we will say that from here to here, that's a complete wavelength. But within, okay, it's a complete oscillation. And within the complete oscillation, there is some distance. So the distance covered within a complete oscillation is called wavelength. So in such a case, we would have said A is wavelength. But looking at the graph physically, you discover that along the x-axis, there is time, meaning that within a complete oscillation, then we can only extract periodic time. On the diagram, show the crests and the troughs. So the crests and troughs. So crest is the topmost point, trough is the bottommost. So you look at the topmost, that is our crest. Then trough shall be the bottommost. Trough shall be the bottommost point. So that's how you're supposed to know that whenever you are leveling a crest, you need to look at the topmost point of the curve. And whenever you're talking about trough, should be the bottommost. Trying to adjust my screen. Sorry for that. Yes. So we are saying this is a crest. and this is trough. Precisely, crests and troughs are specific points, not within a certain region. So you can't tell me that this is a crest and you expect a mark. No, that's not a crest. That is not a crest. Crest is the topmost point within a curve, like that. Number 12. Draw a well-labeled diagram of animal cell as seen under the light microscope. So we're just going to draw the basics in an animal cell, whereby you need the irregular circle like that. Then at the center, we can have the nucleus. So this is now the cell wall. Then this is the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. Then we have the nucleus. So now that's how you're supposed to come up with a simple plant cell. Don't decorate too much. Don't list a lot of, a lot of labeling, because you increase the chances of the more you indicate things, the higher the chances of you writing wrong things. Complete the following ray diagram to show the position and nature of the image. We're having a certain image here. We are supposed to draw ray diagrams so that we may show where the image is formed. We are supposed to know about 3 basic rays and how they behave after they have been refracted. For example, a ray from the tip to the mirror is usually reflected through the principal focus. That one is given. Again, we can consider something here. A ray of light that appears to pass through F. So a ray approaching the mirror through F, that this ray shall become close and parallel to the principal axis. The ray becomes close and parallel to the principal axis, like that. So now, the intersection of the 2 reflected rays shall give us the tip of the image. And now we place it there. That is the tip of the image. Remember, the object can be placed at different positions for you to complete the ray diagram and show the location of the images. Please get used. Remember, there is already a lesson on the same, a full lesson, more than an hour, discussing ray diagrams and how images are formed together with their properties, like that. State 2 characteristics of the image formed. We can state the characteristics here. 1, the image the image is at C. The image is same size as object. Same size as object. As you can see, it has not been diminished. It has not been enlarged. We can also talk about the image being real. Yeah, the image is real. And finally, the image is inverted. Instead of inverted, we can talk about upside down. So that's how the properties are supposed to be stated. Number 34. In number 34, name the components of an atom. What makes the atom? We call them subatomic atoms, subatomic particles. They include the proton, the neutron, and electrons. It's also good for you to know that In an atom, protons and neutrons usually are found in the nucleus, while electrons are found in the energy levels. Part B of the same. What are the samples of the following elements? Mercury, we talk about Hg, aluminium, Al, silver, Ag, and iron, Fe. So these are the chemical samples for the said elements, respectively. Highlight three properties of a cell membrane. A cell membrane, one, is semi-permeable. Semi-permeable, meaning that selectively it allows materials in and out of the cell. Another property is that it's sensitive to changes in temperature and pH. It is sensitive to changes in pH and temperature. That's one property of the cell membrane of a cell. And finally, it possesses electric charges. It possesses electric charges. This is another property. Look at number 36. That is, list three changes that occur in a flower after fertilization. One is that some parts like petals, the pistil, and stamen, petals, the pistil, and stamen wither and drop up. They wither and drop up. They wither and drop off, fall down. That is the petals, the pistil, and the stamen wither after fertilization. The ovary develops into a fruit. The ovary develops into fruits. And the ovules form seeds. The ovules form seeds. Yeah, the ovules form seeds. 37. Name the process A, B, C, and D. Name the process A, B, C, and D. So we have a change solid directly to gas without joining the liquid status. And that process is called sublimation. Yeah, that one we call it sublimation. So you write sublimation. We have substances that sublime, like benzoic acid, iodine, etc. Then the reverse of that, whereby a gas is directly becoming a solid upon cooling without joining the liquid status. This process now is called deposition. That one is called deposition. Then look at part C, whereby a liquid is changing into fizz. A liquid is changing to a solid. That one is called freezing. Freezing. In physics, we call it solidification. Then finally, we have D, whereby a gas is becoming a liquid, of course, after cooling, and that is called condensation. Condensation. Yeah, condensation, like that. Number 38, as we wind. It's good for you to remember to subscribe to this platform so that you may be receiving updates whenever we do a lesson. Please be a subscribed member. We shall keep you posted We shall keep helping you until you sit for the national exams. Now, we're told that Joseph's temperature at school gate was measured as 39.2 degrees Celsius. What was its temperature in SI units? In other words, in Kelvin. We're supposed to change temperature from degrees Celsius to Kelvin. We add 273 to the temperature. Just that constant. Nothing more, nothing less. 312. The temperature is now in Kelvin. So to change degrees Celsius to Kelvin, we just add 273. And if it was the reverse now, changing Kelvin to degrees Celsius, we would have subtracted the same constant, 273. Number 39. The diagram